Most people think that the big financial problems come from big mistakes, but usually it's those tiny little day in, day out compounded habits that end up sinking the ship. So, if you avoid looking at your bank account unless you have to, you feel like money management or budgeting is a four-letter word, it's exhausting, it's overwhelming. If you've said, "I'll get organized with my finances soon," but it never ends up, like, actually happening, it keeps getting put off, this is a perfect episode for you. So, let's get to it. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Amy Circa. We are in the middle of this mini series on the hidden ways that we sabotage our finances and how to finally break free. Over the last episode and the next couple, we're going to explore the real reasons money might feel harder than it should. And it's not just about how much you make or how well you budget. We're going to look at the silent mindset patterns, the tiny habits that drain your financial power. That's today, and the tactical mistakes that sneak in behind the scenes. My goal is simple: to help you see these patterns without judgment so you can reclaim your power, take small, meaningful steps towards unstoppable finances. Whether you're feeling stuck, frustrated, or just ready to feel more confident with your money, you're exactly where you need to be. So, last week, we talked about mindset and the emotion piece of it and how we have these mindset habits, these beliefs that show up and they keep us stuck because we don't even realize it. So, the next thing, what we're going to talk about today is your habits, the day to day. This is much more strategy, but it's also an energy portion as well. So some of those sabotaging habits that you might have. Do you avoid looking at your money? This could be not budgeting at all. This could be bank account balance budgeting, where you've got money in the bank account and you're good. You might have inconsistent or chaotic money routines. So you'll take charge, you put the budget together, and you do great one month and then you fall off again. It's like work, and then avoid. This also could be if you say yes to expenses or opportunities, maybe you're investing in programs out of pressure or fear instead of confidence and alignment. And then energetic leaks, if you were spending the mental energy worried about money and strategizing within your business and doing all the things, but you're not actually taking action. We're just thinking about it. Okay? So we're going to talk about how to overcome some of those, but those are some of those, hey, red flags. This is where you're probably sabotaging your finances. Another one that I don't want to say that I just realized, but definitely came to mind recently is within budgeting or your bookkeeping, if you use automation as a way to avoid it. Automation can be amazing. Systems can be amazing. And I love utilizing them, but you can't over automate. If you are trying to automate it to the point that you don't really have to do it, you're still avoiding looking at your money. And that's a new one that we're seeing show up much more prevalently with the case of AI. And okay, yeah, we'll get to that. So if you are avoiding your money, we'll start with that one. One of the things that really should look at, should work on somewhere in there. A quick strategy. Let's do it like that. Quick strategy to help you overcome this is something that I call the Daily Money Minute. This episode is going to be a lot more about action, like quick things that you can do to take action. Daily Money Minute. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to check in with your bank account every single day. Log in, look at the balance. Doesn't matter what it is. There is no meaning attached to it. That's what we have to work on here. We're seeing the bank account. We're seeing the balance in it without attaching meaning to it. So if it's zero, it doesn't mean anything. Maybe something's going to show up. If there's $5,000 in there, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't matter what's in the account. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. You're just looking at it without attaching meaning. We're checking in. No emotional, no beating yourself up. Do that. That's your daily money minute. And you'll notice when we talk about several of these systems that they build. And there's a reason for that, because this kind of helps with that inconsistent or the chaotic money routines, because they build on each other. So we have the daily money minute, okay? The next layer is your financial check-in. Your financial check-in is when you check in with your finances once a week. This is your designated time to worry about your finances. This helps with the, if you're spending the energy, mental energy, worrying about your finances, financial check-in. Designated time for you to sit there and stress about your money. Okay? Make sure the bills are paid for the next couple weeks, check the mail, make the phone calls you don't want to make, all those things. We talked about that recently here on the podcast. Also within Money Mastery Academy, we have a whole section. It's called Winning on Repeat. This is what that talks about, is these systems, how they build on top of each other so that you can do those things. We want the systems, but small habits, incremental, the compound effect, right? Also, have you heard it, like the millionaire next door? Most millionaires, and the millionaire next door talks about that. Most millionaires are not just, millionaires overnight. It's those small, incremental, they've been saving consistently. We'll just use $25, whatever it is, like time and time again. It doesn't matter. They're probably putting more than that in savings, but it compounds over time because they made those small habits. That's what we're doing here. So your financial check-in, designate the time to worry about your money. And then when stuff comes up throughout the rest of the week, I've got this. It'll be all right. We'll check on it with the financial check-in. We'll make space for it. And that's going to take time to sit there and remind yourself that you're okay. There's somatic practices to like regulate your nervous system that you could be doing here. But you kind of just schedule it. It's like, okay, I'm going to give myself space to do that. But then there's also the balance of not beating up yourself with, okay, that's way too, we can't get that deep today. Financial check-in. That helps with the energetic leaks, making sure that you're actually taking action, and the inconsistent, chaotic money routine. Okay. And then the third layer is your month end. This is also why we created Execution Lab. So there's that monthly space to check in with your finances with support, really help ground you in, make the decisions that you need to. But this is where we do a business month end and a personal month end. Make sure that, you're kind of putting a bow on the numbers for the month. Look at what you actually spent for the month versus what you budgeted. Where were annual expenses that came up? Those are the expenses that we pay for on a quarterly or semi-annual, less than monthly basis. We record those so that next year it's not a surprise that throws you off and stresses you out, because we know it's coming. Small habits that compound. Okay. That's your month end process. That's like the biggest one there. There's a couple like year end ones, and like tax, but once you have these are the core. When you've got these figured out, then you're good. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned today when we were talking about financial habits is the 24-hour rule. So especially if you struggle with saying yes to expenses or investing in programs from the pressure instead of alignment, set a dollar amount, whatever it might be. $100 is usually the example that I give. So we'll say $100. If there's something that you want to purchase that's more than $100, wait 24 hours to buy it. Because if it's out of pressure or out of excitement, that can be both, right? Like the energy there can be really high energy and you're super excited and it's not really a yes, but it feels amazing because of the excitement, the dopamine hit of the offer, right? Or you can be stressed and pressured. This has to work. I have to figure this out now, which there's a point, yes, where you draw the line in the sand. You're like, I'm going to figure this out now. I'm going to prioritize it, but it's not, there's a difference in the pressure there. That like sick to your stomach feeling, that's what we're avoiding with the 24-hour rule. Giving yourself space to make the decision. And over time, as you start to learn to listen to your intuition, maybe you can make those choices faster. I know there was a program that I invested in recently that I made the decision. I intuitively knew, like in my gut, I felt it. It was like, okay, this is the time to invest in this program. I still waited the 24 hours because I could. I wasn't worried about bonuses or whatever else because I know that it's going to work out in the best way that it's supposed to for me. So when we have these small stackable systems in place, we work on our energy, we've got the right financial habits in place, those behaviors that help us stay on track. And these, I think, are even more important because we can coast. You've done a little bit of work on your finances, you've done a little bit of work on your mindset, but then we kind of coast. It's comfortable, right? But when you're still doing the work, this is where you really create the space to grow. And probably heard the saying, that fruit doesn't just stay, nothing just stays the same. It's either ripening, growing, or rotting, losing its power. I don't want to be losing my power when it comes to finances. I don't want to be rotting when it comes to my finances. This is something that I'm going to continue to grow in and to work on, right? And when you have these stackable habits in place, you know that you're doing the work that you should, you need to be, I don't like using the word should, but doing the work that's the aligned work for you. And you're making progress. You're doing the things. You're staying connected to the numbers and being able to grow as opposed to just coasting. Because if we don't know where we're at, you're coasting. All right. So your homework for this one, I want you to identify one habit. Well, let's start with this. Where's one way that you are letting energy leak? What's a habit that we need to shift when it comes to money? Are you avoiding looking at it and we need to implement the daily money minute? Which one of those systems was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm letting that fall through. I'm not growing here. Now, remember, if I've got two ways of support that I want to mention here that they're important. First would be Execution Lab, your monthly space to check in, ground yourself, move forward on the money tasks that usually get pushed aside. That's what we talked about. It's just $9 a month, and it's the perfect way to stay consistent and create that lasting financial change without the pressure or overwhelm because it's one time a month, right? And then, of course, if you're ready to go all in to create real and lasting transformation, I would invite you to join me inside the Unstoppable Experience. That is my 12-month group mentorship where we blend the personalized financial strategy. So you get all the step-by-step strategy, deep emotional regulation, and mindset rewiring so you can step into your unstoppable life. We're going to stop just managing money and start embodying your financial power. You'll be able to see all the details for both programs inside the show notes. They're amycirca.com/execution lab and amycirca.com/unstoppable. I'll see you in the next episode. We are only halfway through this little mini series on hidden ways that we sabotage our finances. So we talked about mindset. We talked about financial habits, those tactical financial habits. And then next episode, we're going to talk about those tactical traps though, but they keep us stuck financially. Okay, we'll see you then. Are you tired of not seeing consistent cash flow? What if you could stop wasting countless hours working on the wrong things only to leave yourself more frustrated than you started? All without jumping from strategy to strategy just to try to find one that works and without requiring a week of reflection or a time audit because you don't have time to do the things that you need to as it is. My cash flow calculator might be perfect for you. This assessment style calculator reveals your blind spots and what you're missing so that you can finally see consistent cash flow month after month. So grab my cash flow calculator absolutely free and unlock the right work that you're probably already doing in order to finally see consistent cash flow month after month. It's only going to take 90 seconds and you don't need to know any of your numbers to actually do this. Then, as a bonus, there's a special way you can get me to give you feedback on your results. Simply go to amycirca.com/cashflow to access, and of course, that link is hanging out in the description for you.